This conference will now be recorded.
He's at 14 now. Okay.
Okay. Good.
All right. So there, we are on change of zoning 369 for Rise Properties. What this one is actually more of a compliance issue than anything. Bring the map up so you guys can see it. So this one, I'm gonna bring the site plan up, I think is probably the most important. We had him do a full site plan, and this was a combination of it's inside Spearfish's plating jurisdiction and building permit jurisdiction, but it's in the county's zoning jurisdiction. And I've been talking off and on with the landowner on this one. This started when this structure right down here burned down about a little over a year ago, probably right about there. And it started with that discussion. We were trying to figure out, well, how do we let it rebuild? What do we do to make sure the foundation's okay? You know, all the discussions. We got that figured out, and he is starting to build on that. But as part of that discussion, it came down to, I logged out, logged back in. And so then all of these structures all the way around here have been in existence for years. They're little rentals. They've been off and on. They've been full-time rentals, short-term rentals, all sorts of different things. Mostly college kids, probably in and out of there. New landowner purchased all of it, and he would like to start working on these structures, cleaning them up. If you've been down there, some of it has been, but some of them are pretty dilapidated. Like it's time to do something with them. But before he put a bunch of money into it, they wanted to figure out, well, can we do it for one? Well, because it was a grandfathered use under the suburban residential zoning district. A lot of those structures were pre-zoning, so pre-1974. And so with that, it was, well, what's the best way to kind of get this property cleaned up, but still do it within a compliant nature? So looking at the grandfathering status, if any of the structures would get torn down, we couldn't really allow them to be rebuilt because we didn't have that option in that suburban residential. And so with that, they are looking at doing a change of zoning from suburban residential to a planned unit development, which would then allow him to plan these out, do a full review, do the structures. You're really not changing what's already there, but it's just giving him permission to actually update all the structures. It cleans it up. It's something that, you know, that whole old Highway 14 area, we've been having this discussion slowly. Properties are starting to kind of be brought into compliance. It's just taking time. And it's nice to see this one overall. So what we would like to do is get that change of zoning done, and then he can go back to the city to finish the plating and the building permit part. But we had to kind of deal with this part first. And landowners here, if you have specific questions, but if not, I think that covers everything. Do you have anything else to add? No? Okay.
Okay, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone that didn't hear the instructions for the public hearing last time? Just remind you, if you have comments, to stand up and say your name and address and say your piece. Okay, go ahead. Okay, anything else from the applicant?
No, sir.
All right, we'll close the public hearing. Discussion here, would this allow each building to be platted off on a separate lot, or would this remain all as one?
Right now, that's not the request. They're looking at replatting it just like it shows here. This is the preliminary as one, and then he can deal with the individual structures on that plat.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns?
So does he have to provide a planned unit development plan then?
No, not really, unless he's gonna totally change the use, but right now it's still a regular use. It would be dealing with the individual structures now, so it's gonna be a building permit question.
It's the building permit
Yep.
question.
Yep.
As long as it stays like that, if he wants to go put a new building or anything else in there, then he'd have to.
Yeah, you get the same, it's basically showing what's there, so how many structures does he have? That's what he would be stuck to. If he wants to do anything other than that, it would be a development plan probably.
Basically, this is the plan.
So replacing a building in the same footprint is acceptable.
Correct. Yeah, he can do that, he can clean them up, he can keep the structures that are and go in and, you know,
Does
dig
that
out the
include the
inside.
existing foundation then?
Yeah, that one we've already permitted. We got permission from the board to redo that one. Basically, he had to show engineering that that existing foundation was still safe to build on. And he did. He went through that process. So the house is being rebuilt on that one. So this is just on the change of zoning from suburban residential to planned unit development change of zoning. That's the only thing that you're looking at today.
I assume these are all septic tanks?
I don't know off the top of my head.
They are?
Yeah.
I think they are. I think there's a couple of septic.
What's
tanks
the
in there.
water?
Is there
a well on the property?
Yep.
So under a PUD, does the septic requirements change?
Nope.
They do not.
No, but these are all grandfathered, so they would
They're all
meet the
grandfathered in, but
requirements.
we're changing the zoning, so they don't,
Zoning
they
doesn't have
wouldn't
anything to do with septic though.
but they wouldn't need a 1 acre per.
No, because it's a grandfathered use as it is. It's 1.44 acres. And it was grandfathered as it is,
Yeah, I'm
the
just
city
trying to-
already allowed, or
Trying to
the,
understand what parts are grandfathered and which parts are not. So
nothing will be grandfathered. So you're not changing the use that's already there by
Right,
doing a
yeah.
change of zoning. So everything's grandfathered that is currently on that property because it was in existence prior to zoning.
Mhm.
So there was no laws at the time that it was originally created.
We're bringing the zoning into compliance, but not the septic systems.
Correct, because you don't have to. Yep. The state would continue to allow them as is because they were put in prior to. Now, if there's a problem with them, then he may have to do something with it. But right now, I think they're still working.
Seems like if the building goes away, it should end the grandfather for the septic system.
No, it doesn't because he's still over the acreage.
Is it all one septic system or is there multiple?
There's multiple.
So he's not over the acreage for multiples, for each one.
Are you talking about the existing foundation?
Oh,
Talking about all those
the whole
buildings.
thing.
Well, I don't think they're not, the buildings aren't going away. He's just redoing them.
No, yeah, my original question was if he replaces them, does he have to bring the septic into compliance?
No. No, we've never required that before. As long as, now if there's a problem with the septic, yes. But as long as he can show that they're still actively working for the purpose that was there, then no.
But what would happen if there was a problem? If one stops working, how do you replace it?
Well, then he has to go to the state to see if they're gonna allow him to have a variance to the 1 acre.
I don't know, the state's still on.
Yeah, we don't give variances on the state. It would have to say, okay, he can do this or do that, or look into sewer.
Yeah.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion? Sounds like there's probably some risk to you there on the septic systems in the future. If you have problems, there could be some issues. You have to be looking at the state level. Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay,
And this will go to, I think, the changes only, so it'll go to the county commissioners. Would you give, oops. This one is the new packet. Did you have notices? Did you drop those off already?
I have the receipts.
Do you have, okay, perfect. I just need all of those, please.
You got signed?
Thank you, guys. Anything else? No? Okay.
Okay, next is an informational meeting for change of zoning 372 for Isaac Almanza.
All right. This one is a change of zoning request. It can come through because it's been a year since the last application was made on this property, so it meets the requirements. Same property in question from before is the St. Ange Road application. And when you go to the drawing, here's the drawing. So it's taking in all these quarter parcels. Steinmeier Lane is down here. St. Ange Road is here. It's this parcel, all these little parcels that you see. They're not including the piece that was kind of away from all this. If you remember, that was in the original application. That's not included in this. Plus, it's not including the parcel on the other side of Steinmeier Lane. So it's just this area here that you see highlighted. This is just kind of another location map of it. Same with this one, another location map of it. And it is a change of zoning from A1 to A2, which is a 4/40. Last time it was A1 down to the density, the suburban residential.
Acres for you?
Yep, rural residential, suburban residential. We've talked about all of them. But this one is just the A1 to A2, so it's 4 residences per 40 acres. So you're looking at 10-acre lots.
How many total acres is there?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Should be on.
It is 90. It was a little under 100. So 90 acres total. And it's not 90 as in your normal 40 and 40. It's all these little pieces are included in that.
So would that make it go to, would it be 4 residences per square 40 or
Doesn't
Would it
matter
be
to me.
just
He can get
10?
a maximum of 4 per 40, so that'd be 80. It'd be 8 lots, so probably 9 lots.
Yeah.
Total. It won't matter like the shape of them. He can use all the shape of this.
Sure.
And that'll be the platting process will end up going through the city of Spearfish because it is in Spearfish's platting
And
jurisdiction.
then what's the minimum, 5-acre minimum?
No.
No,
It's
minimum?
an 8-acre minimum, 10-acre
Okay.
average.
Okay.
For that zoning district. So 8 acres is the smallest that you would see.
Do you have anything to say? What your plans are, or what you want to do?
No, just 10-acre lots, you know, whatever the zoning would allow. Just trying to compromise from the rural residential.
Sure.
And you won't see the lot layout. That's not part of the change of zoning. It's just is it an appropriate location for that change of zoning request to occur?
Yep.
I know last time there was a lot of stuff about is if it would be considered spot zoning or not. I still say it's not. I didn't think it was last time because it's only a little bit, like less than 500 feet, I think. Between the two, it is a growth area. Obviously, City of Spearfish is continuing to extend that direction. Today's just informational, so you're not making a decision one way or another.
Yep.
It's just, basically, the question had come about last time he provided you a layout of what the lots were gonna look like and stuff. I suggested not to, because that's not really a part of this application.
Yeah.
That'll be planning, the planning phases going forward. If this does get passed, then he'll have to go through that whole planning process with the city. So, that's it.
Yes.
We actually wouldn't even approve those plots.
You will not look at those plats. No, they just have to meet the zoning requirements.
Yeah.
It's a sign too.
Yeah, he has a sign too.
At this time, I don't have a problem with it.
So you'll just go through the regular change of zoning process. There's your sign needs to be posted, and then that's your notices, like your letters and stuff that have to get mailed out, whoever's doing that part. Okay, all right,
Thank you.
thank you. Hmm?
Does it say payment sign?
With, maybe, we'll see. Yeah. Okay.
All right, like good on that one? Informational meeting for CUP for grandfathered amendment Mountain View Ranches.
So this one is a little bit different. We're trying to deal with it the best we can within the ordinances that we have. So this is for Mountain View Ranches and the Centennial Quarry, the Simon Quarry there at the Kirk City Road and the highway. And what that one is the Centennial Quarry does not have a conditional use permit because it was prior to zoning. We didn't have it at the time. But we have an understanding with them that if at any time we did like an inventory per se of what was out there, if at any time they decide to try to expand over and above what was already there, then they would have to come forward with a conditional use permit. But in this scenario, the neighbor, which is Mountain View Ranches,
I don't think they have to.
so I'm trying to find the map. The neighbor, which is Mountain View Ranches, lives up here. That's the house that's up on where Tom Lean's at. The house up on the hillside. There's a really steep driveway when you're driving down the highway before you get to Kirk City Road. There's an asphalt driveway that comes up here and it goes up to the house up here, right? Mountain View Ranches would like to work with the quarry, which they own lots 1 and lots 2. And currently there's an easement that comes through the middle of where the trucks and stuff are, and it comes up the hill that they use to actually get up here because this one is so steep, like in the wintertime and stuff, it's hard to get up and down. So they actually drive through here as their actual easement driveway up to the top. So with discussion, they would like to purchase this hashed area from Centennial Quarry. And then they would be able to run a new driveway up along here to connect into their existing. That would be a little bit smoother, and then it would get rid of them driving through the middle of the trucks and all the stuff. This driveway, I think, is probably going to stay in place just to keep it, but it's just the steepness of it. It'll make it better. But in order to do that, the two landowners kind of have to work together to change the lot line. And the way I looked at it, based on the discussion we had with the Centennial Quarry, was in a normal CUP process, if there was a change to the boundary of the quarry, that would have to go through a public hearing process. So with talking to the quarry and talking to Mountain View, they were comfortable with following that procedure so everybody knew what was going on, even though there wasn't really a CUP. So that's why there's no number attached to this. It just says CUP amendment for boundary. Because the Centennial Quarry boundary would actually be decreasing. So their overall acreage is decreasing because a little over, I think it's like 20-ish, 20 acres would be sold back to Mountain View Ranch, which is Tom Lane. So it's going to change that overall boundary. But you can tell by looking at this, Tom had already signed a 500-foot buffer waiver from the quarry anyways. He has no concern with that because that could be an issue right in here where they're quarrying. He had no issue with that. It sounded like that was not a big deal. It's just to alleviate them driving through here for safety wise. But in order to do it, we wanted to make sure everybody, had notice, really was what it came down to, because it is a change in that boundary. But when I look at it, it's 20 acres not going to be able to be mined because it'll now be owned by a private entity.
So right now, they could actually mine that, right?
It's part of their CUP.
Okay.
It's part of their boundary, we'll call it.
Because they don't actually have.
They don't have a CUP, but it's still their grandfather boundary.
But the guy that's purchased it can put a CUP in there.
Yeah.
If he wanted to. Is that the only house in the area?
Yeah, Mountain View Ranches owns the stuff up above. There's 2 houses up. Oh, no, there's 1 house now up on the top.
Mr. Chairman? Bart Banks is here too. I don't know if Bart has anything to add.
Did I explain it correctly?
You did.
Okay.
Basically, this is to give Mountain View all season access to the property. Right now, that steep driveway, you couldn't get a truck or any equipment or anything up there to access the rest of their property. So this piece that we're buying is virtually dedicated to access. No other construction.
Mr. Chairman? Bart, were you gonna check and see with DANR about reclamation or anything, the status of that chunk as well?
Yep, I got a hold of Dwight Gubrud and consulted with him about that. And it basically, that property that you see on the map there that's inside the crosshatched area is largely already reclaimed. It's been graded and grassed and is pretty much back. So really what I have to do there is there's a request for a consent from the owner saying it's been reclaimed, and then you'd have to ask DNR to release it from the reclamation bond. They would go up and look at it to see that it complied with the reclamation.
So it's mostly been mined already then?
Yeah, it's largely reclaimed already.
Okay.
And so I can't really go to the DNR and have it released from reclamation bond until I get a plat drawn. Which is this one.
So they can see the line, what's that and
You
everything.
need a legal description.
Yeah.
And I think part of the question from our perspective, he knows he has to redo the plat, because they're gonna have to change the legal description of lot 1 and 2 and the new one and all that. But before we got that far, wanted to see the comfort level of even doing it before we went through the platting process.
Changing the boundary doesn't require them to have a CUP. It doesn't change the grandfather part of having the pit there.
They were gonna add something.
If they were adding to it, yes, because they would be increasing the size of it, but this way they're decreasing, but we
Simply
still
changing the
are,
line isn't.
we're changing the line, but we didn't feel comfortable just allowing them to do it without a public hearing.
Their permitting from the state for that quarry is the same. Since
Yep.
it's reducing, they don't have to amend it.
Same thing, yep.
Any other questions or anything?
All
All right.
So then,
And I do.
okay. That's the public notice that we talked about, having to send it out to the neighboring property owners. That's what that list is in there, so you
There's a
can,
list in the packet that you sent me, and it's
Yep.
got a list of the neighboring properties, and it's got 2 notices in there.
yep, just make sure, it should be the same thing, but yeah. That's in there, and then there's a sign that you can post. I would post it probably on the asphalt driveway, like on, just because it's in between then the two.
Does it need to be out by 85, or can it be inside the fence?
Inside the fence is fine, because you can't have it in the right of way anyways. Yeah. Yep. Okay, thank you. All right.
Okay, layout plan for KR Deer Mountain Club.
All right, so KR Deer Mountain, this is a plat, and you know what? Randy's sitting here. You wanna do this, Randy?
Yeah, can you go to the second map with the color
Yeah,
image?
then that's the build out of the water. Right, this one.
Be the second sheet, which has the image, which you had to zoom, oh, that's not it. That's yours. This is on the hallway. That looks like, that, yep,
I have no idea.
This one,
it's the second sheet of the map.
Randy, were you expecting to do this one? Is there somebody else out in the hallway that?
No, this is me.
Okay,
This
I
is-
didn't know.
Those guys out in the hallway, they're just outlaws. So, what has happened here is the, lot VJ and lot VJ2A were part of the Raspberry Heights area. And so Raspberry Heights Road goes into that property, and that consisted of about 13 acres. And it surrounded a little triangular government lot right here. Okay, that's a government lot, which is BLM owns. And so the Keatings purchased the southern area, which is this shaped area on the original property. And one of their close friends, Tommy Gun LLC, which is Jan and Tom Qualla, had the property to the north. But when we did the Alta survey on the purchase of the southern property, we included the permit from the BLM for access here. And the plat of those 2 original lots was approved based on that access. And then it's very interesting that that access permit was for one property on the original owner. And then it was divided. And so when it was divided, the northerly lot does not have their name or access from the BLM. The southerly lot dedicated an access easement into it, but the permit did not include the second lot that was platted and approved by the county. Then, each of those is sold several times, and the permit does not automatically transfer. So this was news to all of us, because the plats were approved here based on that original BLM permit. The other thing about the BLM permit is they can stop it at any time. So now the two parties own this. They have built with the gravel road. They have built it up to the tank lot. They continued it up to here to service those two lots. So they no longer need the BLM permit because they built new driveways. So what the agreement was to build the driveway is to give a portion of this lot to Deer Mountain and then plat two additional lots. So what we're doing today is we're reconfiguring 3 lots into 4, bottom line. And in doing so, we've built that access going up there. So the majority of the property is zoned Park Forest. So we have designed the 4 lots to comply with the Park Forest zoning district density. Okay? Correct, Amber?
Yes.
Okay. So our proposal is to make a cul-de-sac right here, and then have the 2 driveways go to these properties, and then continue a single driveway down here, and the existing road goes through 2A. That's our access. So that's our plan of attack. And so what we show on this one is the existing gravel road is in the light gray. Can you go back to the other sheet? It'll show it a little better. Okay, you see the light gray there. That's what has been built. So the cul-de-sac would be this corner of 2A, right where your cursor is. And now everybody has legal access if we do the plat. The discussion is, do we want to make that a 40-foot or 66-foot? We can do it either way. Since we're going to 4 lots, and it's private access and utility easement, just like the PUD, we'd probably go to 66, not a problem. But the exception is the length of the cul-de-sac to here, okay? So regardless of the planning process, we're going to do an easement and those people are going to use that road because the BLM hasn't renewed it, okay? So we're solving a little bit of issue with title because the BLM permit did not transfer. And we're extending the road that goes to the tank lot that you're going to see coming up here next, which is a utility lot. And we're adding 1 new lot in that process and reconfiguring 3. So we're adding 1 total lot. So I wanted to come in with the layout plat because we do have the exception. And we can give as-built of that piece of road from Terry Summit to that cul-de-sac. We don't have a problem doing that.
Mr. Chairman, are there hydrants up there?
Well, good question. This lot 2A would be serviced from the appurtenances to the tank lot. Lot BJ3 and BJ2A, which exist today, are serviced by a shared well that doesn't produce a significant amount of water. So we're annexing all of this into the sanitary district, and they're going to provide water. In doing so, our plan is to put a potable water line here, here, and here, and the hydrants would stop by the tank lot. So we're working on getting that approved by the sanitary district. Upon their approval, that's what our plan would be.
Mr. Chairman. Ray, how far does the proposed cul-de-sac exceed the limitation?
What's the max on 3 lots or 2 lots, Amber? 600 or 1100? Depends on how you interpret
It
it.
depends, yeah.
Is it quite a bit?
What's your total length?
I'd have to get it, but I would say it's probably 200 feet.
Probably about, I was gonna guess about
200 or plus more, yeah.
Over the limit.
Yeah.
Over the limit.
And it depends on if you determine it for 4 lots, 2 lots, 3 lots, whatever.
So if you looked at it for existing access, I say we have to look at it as 4 lots, even though 2 were existing, we really shouldn't take those into account.
Actually, 3 were existing.
Yeah, so that was the question is,
Service.
but it's fixing the access issue that has now come up since then. How do you, so really it's only to one new lot, but there are some existing lots there. So I looked at it as 4 lots, just basic if it was brand new, if we were starting from scratch.
Yeah, and we made them
That's
all
what I did.
compliant, size compliant with the rural residential park forest, and the total acreage is divisible by 4 to give us the 5-acre average. So that's, we're on a fence here, and we tried to make the best accommodations we could. So the exceptions would be based on the cul-de-sac, because in park forest zoning, we can have a well and a septic. But we're annexing into the sanitary district with the intent of having potable water to these 3, which will be like a 2-inch line. And then have fire protection on 2A, because we have a hydrant right over here by the tank. That's what we're thinking. Hence the layout plan, rather than coming in with a preliminary and final.
I guess I'm not understanding the current rule of a cul-de-sac and how this is exceeding that.
I don't have those
I'm
distances. in front of
looking
me.
it up here.
So it's that the cul-de-sac is too big? Or
No, it's
is
too
No, the
long.
distance,
It's the
distance-
length of
I
the
can answer
cul-de-sac.
that. The distance from the approach to the cul-de-sac is greater than the length that's allowed in the ordinance.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
We can make
Maximum
it as big
length,
as we
so
need.
maximum
So
length
that's what I
for,
wasn't following. It's too far away from the approach.
yeah, maximum length of a cul-de-sac serving lots with an acreage of 2 acres or less is 500 feet. Maximum length of a cul-de-sac serving lots with an acreage of more than 2 but less than 10, which these are all with that, is 800 feet. And it's probably gonna be closer to 1,000 feet long.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the 1,000 feet is set aside for cul-de-sacs with an acreage of more than 10, less than 40. So this, because these acreages are all in that 8 to, that puts it down at 800 feet, but more than likely this will be closer to 1,000 feet long.
And I would point out that I believe this access coming in, but it was only 2 lots, exceeded it already based on the, because it was going to 3 lots. So
But what is the purpose of having a distance requirement?
Usually it's to do with fire, and that's why like where this, there's the water is up there, because the water tank is there. Plus you have hydrants closer than, what are they gonna be, maybe 300 feet away?
well, they have to meet state code, which
Yeah.
is, I think.
So in this scenario, even though they're not there, you also have the water consumption there, which we didn't have before.
2 reasons for the exception, or the length of it, is fire protection, any emergency action, emergency response is what it's about. Not just wildland, structure fires, anything like that. That's why we had that.
And I think some of the stuff too that I had talked to him about is the existing access easement that comes up there is a 40-foot. That's what this is. But this one here that goes up to the tank lot is actually wider. It's, I think, a 66. So I said, well, I would think it would be better off to at least have a 66-foot, just to be a little bit wider, have the cul-de-sac meet the standards. So then that way you're not on a 40-foot little access trail with a fire truck or something.
And
That
One thing
was,
I've never quite understood about that is the more houses you get, the longer your cul-de-sac can be, which seems the opposite.
Well, actually, it's a density.
it's the density, it's an
Yeah,
acreage.
It's shorter. But,
Oh, yeah, shorter.
so here's a little footnote. Our agreement, as you're gonna see later, we're transferring this tank lot to the sand district. And the agreement is to provide them access. And the new road is being finished that gives the tank lot access, so they may be sharing that same road. And we'll move this private easement to the tank lot over to that at that time.
And the BLM road is staying there, they just don't have an access permit for it.
Well, it's being reclaimed.
It is getting taken out.
Mr. Chairman? So I was just gonna ask that, is there a second emergency access if necessary that's up there?
Well, there is a trail that's constructed out here that connects into the Deer Mountain system. I drove it, it wasn't complete when I was up there, but it's possible to get out that way. And with this being reclaimed, it's flat enough you could get out that way, but it's not
There won't be a road anymore.
And it's not gonna be maintained either.
No.
Yeah.
Would it be possible, how far is it, would it be possible to just finish that trail out to the east side there?
I can see where it goes and present that map with the preliminary plan.
I think the problem is you might be crossing property they don't know.
No, it's all contained on ours.
What's the distance from
On
there?
the Deer Mountain Village.
What would be the distance on that trail from there to the existing system?
It's going to be at least that far. As a cul-de-sac.
Another 1,000 feet?
To the PUD.
Yeah, so this is all of this area is in the PUD, okay, everything around it, and this little piece is in the PUD, and this little piece is in the PUD.
Improving that road would help all those other lots along the way too, right? Wouldn't it?
No, they already have double access on most of them. If they, it may, but
Would there be problems with existing owners on those lots to get that through there, or is it?
I don't think so, but I'd have to look. The thing is, if you're gonna use it, you'd go downhill.
Yeah.
And it's not uphill.
And that would really take away all the concerns at all.
Yep,
I'm
understood.
not overly concerned about it, but it is.
Yeah.
It would really alleviate concerns if that was there.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even have brought it in if we weren't having the struggle with getting title here, and we were only creating one more lot, which basically pays for that construction of the road.
And the
And the
way I
water.
looked at it is, from a layout perspective, it didn't meet the ordinance, and that's what we had talked about. So we said, well, let's bring it in, see what you guys think. And then if we know, like, so two of my provisions was 66-foot access, showing where, building out it like it as if it's a new road, so they'll have to do as-built, all the stuff that goes along with it, I think would be required, because we'd want to know that cul-de-sac gets put in according to our current standards.
And then we'd have the water design. too.
Yep, and then the water design, so all
Especially
of
to
that
the
is,
new
would be
lots.
coming in with this. At a preliminary phase.
But we didn't want to expend the effort until we had the discussion.
But the issue with the length then is so the emergency personnel can turn around.
No,
Is that what it is, or?
So people can get out.
People can't get trapped.
if you have an incident right here,
Yeah.
they can't get out, and you can't get to them. But if that's shorter, you have less area to get to them. Less chance of getting. And you can turn around sooner.
But it is.
But I'm just telling you why the ordinance was
Yeah.
there. My understanding.
Right.
Right.
Just don't-
It's very similar to other ordinances.
Mr. Chairman, but Randy, you're gonna look at maybe exploring kind of
Yeah.
that emergency access.
That'd make it really easy
Yeah.
if that was there.
Well, and it's interesting, there's all these hidden easements. This title is interesting. There's an easement here, there's an easement here for different things that were never built. Part of the Mystic Minor process. So we're still in suffrage from that effort. And I will make one thing clear. I talked to the BLM in depth, because there's a lot of government lots up here. They are not concerned about physical access, because by federal law, they have access to their lands under their current use. Now, this one has a logging trail that goes into it. It's kind of archaic. But they have the right to come in and get into their land. So they're not worried about dedicating another access to them.
And it's just that little triangle piece is all they have?
Yeah, there's two or three. You're going to see that next
There's a
one.
few other little.
There's 62 or, no, much larger number, 62 and 3 sections up here. I don't know how many are other exempt areas outside the forest preserve. Right over here is the boundary of the forest preserve. Goes up. So this is BLM, this is forest. Kind of where the road is, the Summit Road is. The two different jurisdictions.
Mr. Chairman, Randy, how did that come to pass? Well, why all the government lots there?
It's voids between the patented mineral surveys. So
Just
you have-
mistakes that were
Find
made?
all the.
Yeah, and they might be this big by this big, in some areas they're tiny. And some of them are larger.
People,
Goes
okay,
back to surveying and what was resurveyed, what was planted and everything. Yeah, discrepancy then in the states.
yeah.
It was never transferred from the federal government to
Yeah.
a private entity.
May I ask another question? Are you looking at doing a land swap with them at all or anything?
We're trying to just buy some of these outright, swap some of them, but that's it doesn't fit the Small Tracts Act, like the Congressional Act,
Yeah.
but it's about a 3-year process.
Yeah.
It takes 8 years. The nice thing is we have land adjacent to it to swap, where some people don't.
It serves a relevant purpose for the size of the lots, basically, right? You would never.
This is a preview of coming attractions next month.
That makes it easier when you got the property adjacent to it, they can
Yeah,
transfer.
or something in the vicinity.
Okay, let's go back to the plat question.
Sorry
because
about
we have
that.
a lot of stuff on the agenda. This is a layout, so usually, I mean, I think he heard the concerns that there are. So going forward with the preliminary plat, you kind of have an idea of what to expect, I think. So
Right.
you usually just give a recommendation of either approval or denial of the layout plan as submitted. And then we would list concerns.
Okay, so I think on those list of concerns before we approve or deny it would be your 66-foot
Yep.
and the possibility of adding that trail in.
Emergency access, and then I said cul-de-sac length of approximately 1,000-ish, because I didn't know exactly what.
But if they do get that out of there, that's knowable. We don't have to worry
Except for
about
it
that.
depends on if it's probably not gonna be a 66-foot all the way through, so then it would still apply. Because then it's just an emergency access, which is different than an actual, like, access.
Typically, we would ask for the exception with that
Yes,
and get the exception of record. So when the next guy comes in, you know, you have the paper trail of how it came to be.
so you would still do an exception for the length, if it's like, let's say, a 40-foot going out the rest of the way, or a 20-foot.
Yep.
Because it's not a full 66-foot road all the way through.
If you put a road all the way through there, would you actually put a cul-de-sac or you need that?
No, it's
You just put a road.
getting the road through in that terrain is challenging. Going out that way. It's on a side slope, so you can put a bench up there. If you went wider, it's.
So you'd still put a cul-de-sac for a turnaround?
We put a cul-de-sac where I proposed.
Yeah.
That would not change. Actually, it's just about that now. It's a big intersection. Yeah, the cul-de-sac would be maintained at that point. There just wouldn't be another one way out.
Would there be anything else anybody else wants to put on there? Average track?
Is this as many lots as this is potential for this area, acreage wise?
Yes, under park forest, we're at our maximum density.
You're at your maximum.
So no, there's no potential for it to split anything.
Not unless they rezoned or put it in the planned unit development. Should be a rezone.
Okay. All right, entertain a motion.
So to go forward, let's see, exceptions, 66 right away in the road. I don't have a problem.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
I guess I'd like to know exactly how far it's the.
Well, you will
About
with the
1,000.
preliminary
Yeah,
plat.
I realize that.
If I had my computer in front of me, I could do that.
Yeah. And then how far that other road actually is too.
Right.
That would be documented in the exception that's accompanies.
And
the
you're
preliminary
not
plat.
approving the exception today. Just so you know, they still have to put a formal exception together with actual as part of the preliminary plat.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Randy.
Well, I'm not
Now
done.
you're to the tank lot, final plat for the tank lot itself, which has the access to it.
You want me to do this one too?
Yep.
Well, this, theoretically, it's exempt from the ordinance because it's a utility lot. So we just went to the final plat and then she asked for a sketch showing that the improvements were on the tank lot. Do you have that?
Yep, I do.
So there's two tanks on there now. One is both of them will be operated by the sanitary district. One was built by Deer Mountain Village and one was built by the Sand District. There's room for a third tank. That's why it's so big to go here. If there was any other expansion up there in the district. So this was in the agreement when the district accepted the PUD and the 200 water taps. So we're fulfilling that agreement. We were waiting until everything was done. Put the tank lot in a final plat.
We're just approving the lot itself,
Correct, just the lot for the tank lot.
and that's independent from the road leading up to it, or is the road leading up to it?
It's just an easement, so.
It's just an easement, so. If that road changes, based on our previous discussion, it's not going to affect the tank line. Or
The
would it have to
agreement, the
be-
agreement with the sanitary district, what you saw with the PUD says we have to provide all-weather access and a suitable road to that site.
But we're not gonna have to do any replatting?
No, not for that.
Okay,
Just curious,
It's private, we can just do it through a miscellaneous document.
okay.
just curious, because it kind of goes back to the last conversation, but what's the capacity of this thing?
Currently, 200 homes in the development, plus all 100 plus of the districts.
Of the current year.
And fire protection for all at 1,200 gallons a minute. It's the only one that meets the standard of the ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, did that resolve the water issues at the old
They
subdivision?
replaced all of that.
I haven't heard anything about that for a long time.
They've been replacing it. They've got a huge
It's taken a long time.
loan for it.
Yeah.
Huge.
About 5, 7 million, I think. Or more.
So it's for final plat only on this one.
Move to approve the final plat.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Randy.
Not done yet.
Nope. Go ahead if you
Okay.
want to start talking about it.
Excellent.
Well, this is an additional two. If you remember, several months ago, we came in and we consolidated 5 lots into 10, or 10 lots into 5. So we still have a water usage number. It's the max on the PUD. So this plat, you probably have to go to the plat because that map will show it. This plat is adding 2 additional lots and have a driveway to them that was built. Lot 6 and lot 5. And they have utilities to them already. So they're in place. And what we'd like to do is plat those 2 lots, offset some of those densities. This is in the PUD.
These are part of the lots that you combined?
No, they're separate and distinct.
They're distinct.
So they're part of the remainder of Block 8.
Basically, they're moving density around. They combined it in some areas to turn around and redo it in a different area.
And then you've got allowable water now too.
Yeah, we still have a surplus there.
Yeah.
Across the board. So this is the remainder of Lot A, and these 2 are coming out. And the infrastructure's in place.
This one is a preliminary and a final.
How much density is left available then after this?
Even with the west side, with the preliminary plat, I think we still have an excess of 30 ballpark.
Amy could actually answer that if you really wanted her to, but she doesn't keep
I'm
track of it.
shooting from the hip there, but it's significant.
There's some left.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Okay. Preliminary and final plat.
Move to approve preliminary plat and final plat if we can add them together.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor of approving the preliminary and final plat, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Thanks, Randy.
Next,
It's a long day.
Okay. You saw Amy's response to your question earlier regarding this plat, correct?
No.
Spearfish Mountain Ranches,
Oh, yeah.
that whole 3 peaks.
I sent that out. You mean about filing the plats and getting the building permits? Yeah. Okay, so there were 2 original lots here. You see this dashed line right here, folks? That was lot 1. And this area here was lot 2. The buyer, the potential buyer, wants to move that lot line to there. The acreage doesn't change, the footprint doesn't change, it's just a lot line revision. Over here, we did a lot line revision. And some of the neighbors didn't like that lot line revision, so we're changing it back. But those plats are already in the process. So we're changing that back what it was, but we have to call it a replat plat again because we can't vacate those. Simpler process to replat than vacate. So we're not changing the footprints, we're moving the lot lines. Two of these.
So the outside.
The
both
dark,
chunks
black,
are
dark
staying the
black.
same,
Yep, yep.
just switching the lines. in
Yep.
between.
So we moved,
Okay.
we moved this line there and that line to there.
And on this one, we were just doing the final plat.
Correct.
And does it one take care of both of those then?
Yeah.
Okay. Discussion?
Move to approve the final plat.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. All right, corrected plat for TV or Michael and Cheryl.
Is this one to you too?
Yep.
Jeez Louise.
And I'm out of here.
Go for it.
So shamefully, every 46 years, you have an error.
It's okay, we made fun of him already.
So this is my first one of these in my career, 46-year career. So from a drafting error, they drew a straight, yeah, just keep it over. They drew a straight line from there to there. And that hatched area is I-90 right away, which the owners did not own. So you can't plat what you don't own.
For some reason, the state of South Dakota didn't like that.
They were friendly enough.
It's DOT right away.
Did they catch it?
No, I think
I got it.
you got it.
But they're aware of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, what we're doing is correcting that. This will have two landowner signatures because lot 5 has sold.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to collect them on one plat. It's always a challenge to get a landowner to sign it. If they won't, I'll be back separating 5 out. We're working towards that goal.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? So Randy, you're saying that this is because you made a mistake?
No comment.
The minutes are gonna reflect this.
Absolutely.
I hope you're having fun, guys. Hopefully it never happens again with this board. Yeah, I'm human.
So it is called a corrective plat. They do that on purpose so that we know we're correcting it. So when it gets filed in the deeds office, it's gonna look weird because it's the same legal, but they wanna make sure that it says corrective. So it's
There's
just the process.
a statute that calls
Yeah.
out for corrected plats, and it's in our ordinance for corrected
Yeah.
plats.
So it's kind of like, it's under our exemption stuff, kind of. They don't have to, like, he doesn't have to show structures or anything because it's correcting the lot line.
And it doesn't have to give public notice that he made a mistake.
Just here,
Just here.
and at the commission meeting, so get revved up for that.
I'll move to approve the corrected plan.
Thank you.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Glad I could lend you some entertainment today.
We try.
Thanks,
Made my day.
Well, you could admit you made a mistake.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, next one is,
All right, final four bears in the hills.
I don't know if anybody's out there for this one. I don't see anybody online. All right, so this one is a preliminary and utility lot for the well. So if you remember, nobody? Okay. So this is the well lot, which is gonna be the first one right here. And this one back here is where that existing kind of multi-structure went in Apple Springs. It's kind of tucked back in the trees there. This was approved previously, but we want it to sit on its own lot. That was part of the agreement before he moved forward with anything else. So this one is that lot. This first one is the well lot. Access comes in here. Right now, I know there's gonna be people that you'll hear from. It is under construction. There is red dirt everywhere. Yes, red dirt gets out on Wildberger Road, and that is up to John to decide when he has had enough with that. But they are working on it. I do know this is gonna be a poured apron coming off of here. That's what John has already told them would do once, construction's done. So that's what it is. Utility lot normally is an exempt plat. We allow utility lots. And then this one is just making it so that new building sits where it's supposed to on that lot. It is a preliminary and final plat.
Did they measure good to the corner of that building?
Yes, and it's like this because I asked him that it sits on the lot meeting the setbacks, so that's why the lot is how the lot is, because that's not how it originally came in. Good catch to Amy.
Yay, Amy.
Mhm.
Okay, this one we have a preliminary and final plat.
Move to approve.
Second?
Are we approving what?
Preliminary and final plat.
Okay, just double checking.
Second.
All in favor, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right.
Okay, preliminary and final plat for Four Bears in the Hills.
This one I think is just. All right, so this one, they're subdividing the 1.46 acre lot into two lots being 0.73 acres apiece. It's suburban residential, it's allowable for that lot size, roads are in place, utilities are in place. In some areas, also currently still being installed. The HOA, community water system, wastewater treatment facility. It was a part of the original lot layout platted in 2022, currently no improvements on the lot. And the fire plan has been done.
Does the addition of that lot change the cul-de-sac links such that that matters?
No.
All right, again, preliminary and final plat.
Make a motion to approve preliminary and final plat.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Preliminary and final plat for Boulder Canyon Country Club.
All right, so this one is, you can see the lot line here. It's a preliminary plat for lot 7A of block 7. And the back 9 tract 3A1 of Apple Spring subdivision. So you can see the boundary is gonna be, all in here. And then 7 is this one right up here, and I believe they had to do a lot line adjustment. If you see the old lot line kind of went like this. They made it a little bit bigger and kind of moved it out. So a portion of the back 9 tract 3A, whatever, they made an agreement to sell a portion of it. So in order to do it, you had to replat the whole thing.
This one is also our preliminary and final plat.
And there's no infrastructure I shouldn't say no infrastructure, there's no structures on the back 9, but we did have them do a preliminary because the house sat in there, so we wanted to make sure the house met all the setbacks.
Motion to approve preliminary and final plat.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Preliminary and final plat for Prairie Hills Enterprises.
And this one, I believe, is one that we did we do this sometimes when they're doing a townhouse lot, the way that it sits in there, because we don't always know exactly where that concrete's gonna get poured with that townhouse. So we do an overall building permit, we get everything in, and then they come back showing us where the line is in between that common wall.
Surveyed as built.
Yep. So it just kind of, we found that with the townhouses, we're not doing as many replats if we do it this way.
Yeah.
So we issue a building permit on the concrete and then come back in. And it's worked fairly well. We've pretty much been doing that now for two or three of them now, and it's working better.
the preliminary and final plat.
Move to approve preliminary and final plat.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Final plat for Black Hills property.
Close. This one is just a, lot 14. It approved, or it matches the revised preliminary plat from 2023. So there's really nothing there. Infrastructure's in, then there's an update from Trent Walters on where everything's at. We do still have a bond in place.
So this says it is being decreased to 0.532, or
Yep.
should that be it was decreased to 0.532?
Nope, it's being decreased with this plat, which is normal. So preliminary plats, usually they can move a little bit once the final plat is actually created. That's pretty normal, but she's just been putting the acreage. Normally, as long as it's less than 1 acre change, we usually don't see a big difference with it because there's no point set in a preliminary plat.
It's still okay at 0.532 anyways.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So final only no structure currently exists on there. Oops.
Move to approve final plat.
Thank you.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Final plat for Black Hills properties.
This one is a combining 2 lots together, no infrastructure or improvements on either lot. No real concerns with it, I guess.
Did we approve this already with the 2 lots combined on the preliminary?
Yes. Yeah, it looks like it. Mhm. So what, it was 26 and 27. Yeah, it would have been. It was 26 and 27, but now they're just combining them. And so since 26 and 27 were preliminary platted, and there's no infrastructure, no structures on it.
Okay.
So they don't need a new preliminary plat.
Okay. Where's the maker?
Move to approve the final plat.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, security, storage, and property goals.
So this one, there's a pretty lengthy packet here, so, make sure you go through it. Hopefully, maybe you have a chance to look at it. But Hidden Pine subdivision is an 11-acre parcel. They are looking at final platting. You guys did approve a preliminary. So this packet has on here, the first phase is going to be lots 1 through 12. The density allows for lots over 0.184, which is the 8,000 square feet, as long as the utilities are at the lots. The lots will average about 0.659 acres each. An agreement has been reached with the Apple Springs Sanitary District to provide water and septic through the H2O Clear Solutions LLC. The agreement was attached. Staff wants to note that prior to a final occupancy certificate being issued, the property has to pass the final state plumbing inspection and be completely operational. So they're aware of that we're going to make sure, they can actually walk in the house and turn water on. I mean, it's got to all work. The owner is working with the legal counsel on Hidden Pine Subdivision Homeowners Association to get that set up. There's 2 conditions of the preliminary plat noted that have been taken care of. Originally, it was that we wanted proof on the outbuildings that's currently sat on lots 9 through 11. They had to be removed. They did provide pictures as such, and that's in here. And we just asked for proof of it, and that's been done. So those photos have been attached. There was an issue with the warranty deed in which a portion of the legal description was not included in the original owner's purchase, thus affecting the owner's ownership of the lot, has been resolved within the surveyor's affidavit of correction. And that was also attached The as-built initial plan was submitted to the county highway superintendent, John Bay, for review on May 14th, with updated designs sent on July 16th and again on September 29th. The county highway superintendent provided an update on September 23rd, indicating that there had been no changes at the site and that he had no additions to the prior report, so that prior report was still included in the packet. As noted in the original July 23rd county highway report, there have been no access points approved by the county currently. And that's, so normally if you remember, the access points go to the county commission. You guys don't usually see those. And then it should also be noted that the developer and engineer should continue to stay in continued contact with the county highway superintendent as things are completed, so that he has time to go down and, do his checks before it's in front of you guys or anything. The updated as-bilt's attached. The original county highway report was attached and the geotechnical report was attached. Fire mitigation plan is in place and is included in the letter of credit, which was also attached. The Sturgis Fire Chief issued a letter showing approval of the initial plans, but noted that there is no report on the final testing until all fire infrastructure is in place. Upon completion of the fire infrastructure, a letter of approval needs to be submitted to the county. If there are any issues, all building permits will be stopped until an approval is provided. Now that's different than how Deadwood does it. So this is Sturgis. Sturgis wanted to come look at everything and make sure that it was in working order, and then they'll submit a letter back to us. We don't usually get that from the Deadwood department. So I felt that it was important because the fire chief did ask for that to include it in the staff report. And then I know there's a note in here, Amy put in a note about county commission consideration. Obviously, you guys as a P&Z board don't look at the letter of credit or the memorandum of agreement, but if you were to approve this plat today, you need to approve it with the condition that those items be approved by the county commission, because the county commission will look at those upcoming. And that's the letter of credit and the memorandum of agreement, which is also in this for your use. So staff recommends approval of the finding plat as submitted with the condition that the letter of credit and the memorandum of agreement be approved by the county commission. If not approved, the final plat would not get recorded. And then, yeah, that's that. So there was a lot here. Amy spent a lot of time making sure everything was submitted correctly. And I think overall, I don't see anything else that we wouldn't be able to approve. I think the biggest thing to note, and I know we've talked to you guys about it, is as this process continues and they start actually doing the build out of it, and lots are sold, if there's any issues at all with the bond, with, a road not getting put in or whatever, I will stop all building permits, no questions asked. That's what we've had to do. That's kind of where it's at right now. They have provided everything that needed to be provided at this point, and then when that memorandum of agreement and letter of credit takes effect, then they can start, doing the building out.
Okay. So I noticed this one says bond interactions. What do we need to do with the bond?
You don't have to do anything with the bond,
That's commissioner.
other than just making sure that if you approve the plat, you have it as a condition.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And that's what we've done in the past until it gets to county commission.
Okay.
That was kind of a lot.
Yeah, good job.
Good job to Amy.
Any other questions?
But just to make sure I have this straight in my mind.
Okay.
This board is approved, would be asked to approve just the plat, and the county commission would be asked to approve the septic and the water agreement. Is that correct?
You wouldn't even approve the agreement. It's a private agreement between those two entities.
But somebody needs to make sure that they would have water. You were saying that you wouldn't do a certificate of occupancy, and because we got to that point,
Yep.
I've always been bothered by that. So I think that should be a county commission and not a planning and zoning director.
What do you mean?
Well, I just think that if we're going to approve a plat, that should have water provided there. We should know that there's going to be water.
Well, there is. That's what the agreement says.
Mhm.
Then we will just make sure that it's actually hooked up. So that's like literally we walk into the house and make sure you can flush the toilet and
Okay.
It'll be part of the letter of
part of
credit.
the certificate of occupancy. And then the letter of credit includes that gets done.
So the letter of agreement is what the county commission is.
That's what you're approving. You're approving that memorandum of agreement between you and the developer, yes.
I think Amy is included in there. I think she showed it to me, the letters, between the developers and the district to provide water and sewer. So
That's
we-
the
we-
H2O clear.
I can't remember the names of them, but I think we certainly, I think, have those agreements in place. Just a matter of them getting the work done.
So are those actual agreements? I think the wording was there's a willingness to provide.
No, the new one is the actual agreement. It's in
The
here.
new one's that, okay, that was.
Yep, it's the utility access and service agreement, and if you read the whole thing, it talks about connections, terms, governing law, agreement, and it's been signed by H2O Clear Solutions, Mike Short, Security Storage and Properties LLC, which is yours.
Okay, I got you.
So that was in the original one, we didn't have the actual agreement, but now we do, because that was part of one of the conditions that we asked last time.
Excuse me, this is Amy. Can I make a comment to the chair, please?
Yes.
Jeff and I talked a little bit more about building permitting and OC, the occupancy permitting and that sort of thing. And he did think that when the state comes in to do their final electric and plumbing, that they turn the water on in the property. So our condition that, indicates that before our final OCC can be granted, that we automatically have the state come and do those two finals prior to Jeff going to the property. So he will double check it, but the state, that's one of the things the state will check right away prior to him coming out, is that there's water to the property.
Correct.
Okay, thanks, Amy.
There was one letter received. It's not a public hearing per se. The letter was received though that, still stating that they were concerned with the subdivision going in, the roads, the water, the increased people, all of that stuff. So that has not changed. It's not a public hearing, so it's up to the board if you choose to allow anybody to comment on that.
I read through the letter.
Yeah.
Everybody else can see it? Okay. This plat that we're approving only approves the outside boundary, correct?
No, you're approving lots 1 through 12 of Hidden Pine
Oh,
subdivision.
yeah.
Yeah, I have it up on this is what you would be including, the 12 lots. And then the access points. But then they still have to go to John Bay to get the actual, where he'll have to come up like he usually does before the county commission showing that location. Which we half the time don't have those yet anyways.
Right.
And if for some reason they didn't match this plat, then they're gonna have to redo the plat.
How will 12 additional lots affect the capacity of Apple Springs Sanitary District?
We don't, that's not really our thing. They have enough now as is. So if
I
for some
realize that
reason there's,
12 push them over any type of.
no, not their threshold. They've got enough capacity for all the lots in there, plus some. But that will be up to them. I mean, as a district, that's up to them to decide if they're gonna allow hookup fees or not. And so far, it's still under their overall threshold. And we do keep track of that, so every lot that goes onto that system gets counted. And then once it reaches a certain point, they will be required to update, just like they had to last time. And we're not there yet.
In some ways, it probably actually helps them a little bit to have a little more. the way
Well, they
that
have more
system's
fees.
designed, yeah. Okay, any other thoughts or comments or questions? Okay, and a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay. We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, if there's further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right,
I have no updates at all from anything in my office for you. So.
any other the public. Go ahead. State your name and address, please.
Sure. Thank you. My name is Tim Brown, 20713 Wildberg Road. And you just approved the final plat that I just like to comment on, and you saw the letter from my neighbor Clint Call and his wife Judy. Clint and Judy and my wife and I, we are the two landowners to the north of this property. We're the only ones left that aren't involved with Apple Springs, Boulder Canyon, or Boulder Park. And our concern is putting a road in that's going to be gravelled when everything up there is paved. Makes no sense to allow a new division, housing division, to be put in that keeps our neighborhood consistent with one another with a gravel road. So I guess this will need to go in front of the commissioners if you've approved it as is.
Yeah, it will go in front of the commission, and gravel roads are not a requirement. Lawrence County, those developments decided to make them asphalt, not a requirement. It was never required to be asphalted.
Yep, thank you.
I might point out that the developers or that might visit with the neighbors about putting some retardant down and work with your neighbors and try to prevent as much dust as you can for them.
Thank you. Okay, anything else from anybody? About anything?
I kind of have a quick question. So for the approval from the state, is it that it wouldn't be building permits getting issued or certificates of occupancy?
So before a final inspection can occur, you're gonna have to have the state come out there. They'll come do their final plumbing and electrical inspection. Those will have to be done before our building inspector will come out.
The occupancy.
For the occupancy, not the building permit?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I have.
Anybody have anything else?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, meeting adjourned.
Meeting is November 6th, just so you know. And we're gonna email out we have our proposed dates for 2026. So I'll email out, look at your calendars, and then is it next month, Bruce? Is that when you're going to competition with them?
The 14th, next week, I'm gonna.
So I figured then the next meeting, we can kind of know what the commission's gonna do, and you guys can look. I think I do have 2 dates that I asked